A thrilling 2014 season ended in stunning disappointment for Syracuse lacrosse.
But now it's time for a new campaign, and as usual, the expectations are high.
Does the Orange have what it takes to return to the top of college lacrosse? We'll find out right now on the Citrus TV 2015 Lacrosse Preview Show. Hello and welcome to the Citrus TV 2015 Lacrosse Preview Show. I'm Evan Weston.
And I'm Katie Williams. Evan, there may be snow on the ground, but here, for some reason, I guess that means it's time for lacrosse to get started.
It gets earlier and earlier every year, doesn't it? Last season started in February as well, and I guess we should switch back and look at where we were last year.
I mean, after the way it ended, are you sure SU fans will really want to do that?
Oh, come on, Katie. There were plenty of highs in last season. We can go back and look at those, though it did end in a shocking low for the Orange.
Feeds down for Stotts. 5 seconds left. He's at the top of the box. 4. Down to Rice with 1 second. Feed down to Donahue. Shot. Goal. Syracuse wins. It counts. And Syracuse is going to the ACC championship game.
10-9 Bryant. The Orange fails to advance to the quarters for the 3rd time ever.
Syracuse returns a lot of talent for 2015, but there are a few key members of the Orange that have moved on. Perhaps the biggest loss, Chris Daddio. The faceoff specialist suffered through 3.5 years of struggles and benchings before suddenly turning it on halfway through his senior season. Daddio won nearly 60% of its draws from Syracuse's March 29th win over Notre Dame through the end of the year. Syracuse will have to choose from a host of new faces to replace Daddio. Among them transfers Ben Williams and Zach Vihar. Other big losses come in the midfield, where Scott Lloyd, Billy Ward, and Garrick Maltz have moved on to the greener pastures of Major League Lacrosse, and on close defense, where senior leader Matt Harris departs, leaving a void in the 3rd spot next to Brandon Mullins and Sean Young. Syracuse will likely rotate Jay McDermott and Bobby Tate in that position early on in the season.
So we've talked about who left the Orange, Evan. Now let's take a look at who's staying. First up, Kevin Rice. The Skinny Atlas native led the team in scoring last season, a feat that landed him a Tewaaraton Award nomination. He's already been named an Inside Lacrosse preseason All-American and will be a captain on this Orange squad. Joining Rice on the attack, another Tewaaraton Award nominee, senior Randy Stotts, was 2nd on the Orange in assists and points last season after transferring from Onondaga Community College. The Ontario native has been selected as a preseason 2nd-team All-American. In the midfield is the first Orange taken in this year's MLL draft. Senior Henry Schoonmaker went 16th to the Chesapeake Bayhawks. He started 15 games last year and notched 5 multi-goal efforts. Scooney has been named a captain and will anchor the Middies this season. And leading the defense, redshirt junior Brandon Mullins. He took on the number 11 last season and continues to wear it this year. The Texan caused 17 turnovers and scooped up 36 ground balls in 2014. He joins Kevin Rice as an Inside Lacrosse preseason All-American.
It was an up-and-down inaugural ACC campaign for the Cuse last year. The Orange badly stumbled out of the gate, losing to Maryland, Virginia, and Duke by an average of 9 goals per game. That 21-7 loss in Durham was the worst for the program in 37 years. However, with almost no shot of making the ACC tournament, SU rebounded to upset Notre Dame and North Carolina in the Carrier Dome, the latter in overtime, to qualify for the league's postseason party in Philadelphia. It was there that Syracuse shocked Duke with Dylan Donahue's game-winning goal at 0.2 seconds in the fourth quarter in one of the most memorable games in program history.
The top 3 scorers from last season's team: Kevin Rice, Randy Stotts, and Dylan Donahue. Not only are all 3 back for this season, but they're all playing on the same line, the starting attack. And the 3 have high expectations after such a successful 2014. Marcus White spoke with them about the improvements fans can expect for this season.
It did not take long for Syracuse attackmen Kevin Rice, Randy Stotts, and Dylan Donahue to find chemistry last year. The group led the way for the country's 4th-ranked offense in 2014 and accounted for almost 60% of the team's goals. This, despite having just 2 weeks to practice together going into the season, since Stotts did not join the team until the spring semester. But how did they come together so quickly? If you ask them, it's because their skill sets are a natural fit.
We all do things sort of a little bit differently, and I think, once we understood each other's game, it's hard to complement each other well. And I think, we're 3 unselfish players, and when one guy's having a great game, the other 2 of us recognize it, and we try and get them the ball more.
I think our communication on and off the field, like in practice, we always talk about, maybe this or that'll work. I think, and the chemistry of playing together, like every day in practice, has really grown. And they're 2 great players. I mean, Kevin's a good finisher and he's got good eyes and can dodge. Same with Dylan too. He's got great lacrosse IQ. So both of them bring that to the table.
But now, with a full year of practices and games under their belt, the trio thinks they can reach new heights.
I think there's always room to grow. I think, it's a great experience, and we're just looking to improve on every way we can.
I think that was the biggest thing. Like this fall, we really got to mesh together and start playing like pretty well with each other. And I think
obviously last year we didn't really have our attack group settled until midway through the season, when Randy really became that final piece of our attack line, and now we had a whole off season to work together, and so I think you'll see our group improve, especially.
Marcus White, Citrus TV.
While the attack unit expects to improve this season, last year was certainly nothing to ignore. Co-captains Donahue and Rice make a great complement on the offensive end. While Rice led the team in assists in 2014 with 44, Donahue led the way in goals, notching 37. Although both have proven to be well-rounded and potent offensive threats.
Up next on Citrus TV's Lacrosse Preview Show, I sat down with SU head coach John Desko to break down the roster and the expectations for the 2015 season. His answers for Media Day up next.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie, if you want me to do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Welcome back to Citrus TV's 2015 Lacrosse Preview Show, and now it's time to get to know the head man himself. Coach John Desko is entering his 17th season as the leader of the Orange Lacrosse program, and it's been quite the successful run. Since taking over for the legend Roy Simmons Jr., Desko has brought home 5 national titles and posted nearly 200 wins. Evan Weston caught up with him at Media Day.
Now joined on Lacrosse Preview Show by the venerable head coach of the Syracuse Orange, John Desko. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you end last season against Bryant in that enormous upset in the NCAA tournament in a game where they just basically parked the bus in their zone and waited for you to take shots. You come off of that with a really experienced group of players, particularly at attack. What's it been like this fall to sort of gear everybody away from that game and bring things back positively for this season?
Well, frankly, it's been easier this fall. We have so many returning players that a little less teaching and more kind of revamping what they'd learned last year. And we haven't changed things too much offensively or defensively. So it's a little bit more of a refresher course than it was actually getting guys out and trying to teach them from scratch.
They've got Kevin Rice leading the attack at quarterback, an experienced player, came on and really had an unbelievable final half of the season. Donahue's back, Stotts is back, whole attack is returned. Is that the focal point of this team? Are you just going to outscore people?
Well, I hope we have the ball enough to be able to do that. It's a good group offensively. Like you said, the attack is very experienced. Kevin Rice will be a senior. Randy Stotts is a senior. Dylan Donahue will be a junior. So it's a good group. Not only are they experienced, but they're smart, talented players, and it's a good place to start.
Now, you did mention possessions. Everyone's talked the last few years. Face-offs been a bit of an issue for this team. You have basically a brand new group now that Chris Daddio has graduated. Why don't you introduce us to some of these young face-off guys that we might see over the course of the year? Well,
with Williams and Vihar transferring in, I know a couple of freshmen have come in that are highly touted out of high school. And some of the guys we have returning. Cal Peduta has been hurt for us, but people forget that he took a lot of face-offs in the championship game against Duke. He was out there quite a bit, so some pretty good experience coming back, and we've had the fall to work with them. Coach Donahue's done a great job as far as teaching the technique that he would like them to use. So I think it's going to be very competitive, and we start on Wednesday, so we'll see where our guys are this time of year.
Doesn't get talked about too much, but on close defense, that third spot was hard for you to fill last year, eventually to bring Matt Harris down and play close. Have you found a third guy to play back there with Mullins and Young this season?
Well, it's still competitive. Jay McDermott's back there. Bobby Tate has got some experience a year ago, as Jay did. And I think especially McDermott's spot, he needed a year to get stronger, work in the weight room, get some experience going against good players. And I think the fact that our attack is so talented that our close defense is getting a lot of practice against some of the best players in the country, and I think that can only make them better.
And lastly for you, Coach, the goaltending. Bobby Wardwell now the guy with Dominic Lamlinera graduated. You brought in Warren Hill, the transfer as well. Has Warren pushed Bob at all, or is this Bob's job?
Oh, I think it's Bob's job right now, but Warren certainly is there. And I think, as we talked about earlier, the fact that he's a freshman to our program, he's new to the program. Warren's had a lot to learn. He's from the clears, regular defenses that he has to talk about, invert defenses, man-down defense. So there's a lot for him to pick up, and he's got to be a vocal leader for us back there. He certainly has pushed Bob, and I think he finished strong in the scrimmages from the fall. So again, he's new to our program. It's been fun watching him go.
So we've broken down the entire Syracuse lacrosse team for 2015. Your expectation for this season with such an experienced group?
Well, I think expectations are always very high here at Syracuse with any group that we have. And it's comforting from a lacrosse coaching standpoint that we have so much experience coming back. And again, if some of these new guys will get out there, take some face-offs for us, give our offense some possessions, I think we can be very competitive.
You heard it here first. John Desko, very competitive. Thanks, Coach, so much.
Thank you.
Ever since the graduation of two-time All-American goalie John Galloway in 2011, the situation in net hasn't been the most stable. No starting goalkeeper has been able to keep his job throughout a season. Can senior Bobby Wardwell become the first? Well, Coach Desko has named him the starter, but he'll certainly have some competition. Kevin Case has more.
Last year, head coach John Desko chose to give playing time to two goalies. Dominic Lamlinera and Bobby Wardwell. This season, the faces are different. But the situation might just be the same. Senior goalie Bobby Wardwell returns for his final season at SU, but he will have to compete with Onondaga Community College transfer Warren Hill. Hill led OCC to a 35-0 record and back-to-back junior college national championships. Then this summer, the Six Nations Ontario native started in goal for the Iroquois Nationals in the International Lacrosse World Championship. The squad advanced all the way to the semifinals and eventually won the bronze medal. Despite these achievements, Hill admits the transition from junior college to Syracuse has been challenging. He says he does not consider himself the favorite to start the season in net for the Orange.
It's been a crazy transition here. At OCC, on JUCO lacrosse, there's a few guys, maybe 3 or 5 guys you worry about. And going to the World Games, the whole roster is filled with stat guys in the same year at school. So that's been the biggest jump, is trying to get my compete level up there with everybody, and it's been going good so far. Bobby Wardwell was the starter last year, and he's obviously the hot hand right now, and I'm just trying to compete with him and do my best, and whoever's in there is going to be the guy, and we're going to support him all the way.
If the guy does end up being Bobby Wardwell, well, the senior keeper has the numbers to back that up. Despite starting just 1 game last season, Wardwell compiled a 6-1 record to go with 77 saves and a 51% save percentage. Still, the returner says his starting spot isn't guaranteed.
I think it's going really well. Me and Warren come to practice, and we're really pushing each other every day. And then the other goalies are also playing really well too. And so, nothing's ever set in stone. We don't know who's going to play yet. That could change. Depending on who's playing well that week.
Wardwell, Hill, or both, it's probably still too soon to tell. Head coach John Desko says Bobby Wardwell is his starter right now. But when I asked about playing 2 goalies, he said, "We've talked about it. We're not there yet, but it's a pretty good competition in goal right now." Reporting from Manley Fieldhouse, Kevin Case, Citrus TV.
When we return to Citrus TV's 2015 Lacrosse Preview Show, Kevin Rice joins the program to discuss rebounding from last year's stunning first-round tournament exit and his aspirations for his senior season. That's up next. Stick around.
In 1977, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the US Open twice, 1 in 1.2 billion. The odds of him having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Citrus TV isn't just on TV, it's also online.
Yes, Evan, Citrus is more technologically advanced than you are, I'm afraid to say.
Oh, come on.
You can follow us on Twitter at CitrusTV Sports.
And for those with a much better grasp of their smartphone than me, we have an Instagram, also at CitrusTV Sports.
And of course, we're always at home on the web at sportsblog.citrustv.net for all of your in-game updates. Now, before the season starts, Major League Lacrosse hosts its draft, and Syracuse led all schools with 5 players selected. Henry Schoonmaker went highest for the Orange at 16, and was then followed by Hakeem Leckie, Kevin Rice, Randy Stotts, and Sean Young. Sending 5 players to the MLL is the highest mark for SU since the Syracuse 7 back in 2011. And speaking of drafted seniors, Evan Weston has more with Kevin Rice at Media Day.
Now joined here on Lacrosse Preview Show with the star quarterback attackman of the Orange, Kevin Rice. Kevin, you come off this loss at the end of last year to Bryant after you guys made such a great run to the tournament, in a loss where your offense in particular was frustrated by that zone defense. What's it been like to sort of turn things around this fall and bring back the positivity as you head into this year?
Yeah, I think it's obviously a disappointment when you go into the NCAA tournament on the run, like you said, that we were in, and being the #2 seed, that's what you want. You want to have a matchup like that in the first round, and they give them credit. They played well, and it was sort of a perfect storm. We played poorly, and sort of the way the game developed was fit their style well, and I think it's something we talked about at the beginning of this year, but really had to put behind us because it's a different team and guys are in different roles, and we need to focus on this group and this year.
It's got to be nice having the same group back though. You've got Dylan and Randy up on that front line attack with you. That chemistry and that experience really has to help you guys this year.
Yeah, it's nice, especially with Randy getting a full off season to play with us. Last year our preseason, 2 weeks of practice was really all we had with him before we jumped right into our season, and that 3 months we had this fall, I think will do invaluable amount of help for us, and we're excited about getting back out there.
You've got on the other end Bob sort of taking the reins at goalie, and he's faced primarily you guys so far through the fall. What does Bob and the close defense look like as you head into this year?
Well, Bob's been great. He's been extremely consistent this fall. He's always been a goalie that when he gets hot, he's impossible to score on. And I think this fall especially, he's looked very consistent. No bad shots are going in, and he's making some of those saves that he's always made, where you say wow, and you're just thankful that he plays for you and not for the other team.
Now, I know you've had the experience in the past of just sort of waiting in the attacking zone. Where's the ball? Yeah. All right, the ball's got to come down. All right, so you've got a whole new group of face-off guys now that Chris Daddio has graduated. What have some of these younger kids looked like at the and you think that there's going to be a guy that emerges that can really give you guys possessions at a consistent basis?
Yeah, I think they've taken some responsibility on themselves and really worked hard this offseason. The returning guys, Joe DeMarco and guys like that. And then we brought in a couple transfers who have looked very good. Zach Vihar is a strong kid, and Ben Williams I think was our front runner in the fall for sure. He played great in our 2 fall scrimmages, and we're excited about what he can do because he's a great athlete. He's good off the ground, and so maybe some of those 50-50 scrums that we were losing in the past few years, I think we'll be confident we're going to come up with some of those.
So with all these guys back, you got so much experience. Is this a national championship or bust type of season for you?
I think so, especially for me. I'm a senior, so I only have one more crack at it, so it's definitely championship or bust. And I think when you look at the type of talent we have national championship talent. It's just about bringing it together and shoring up the defense, making sure our offense is unselfish with the ball, and just making sure we work through all the little things.
Now, for you personally, with how strong you came on at the end of the year last year, any Tewaaraton dreams maybe for this season?
That's something that you don't really think about, and if it comes, it comes, but we're more focused on wins and losses, and I'll take no personal accolades if I come out of here with a ring, so that's what our first desire is.
Kevin Rice, thanks so much.
Yep, thank you.
You just heard it from Kevin Rice, Katie. He's going to key the starting attack this year.
That attack unit will be the strongest on the field for the Orange, lining up with Rice's preseason All-American Randy Stotts and junior captain Dylan Donahue.
We know the attack by heart at this point. Things get a little more interesting in the midfield. Citrus TV is currently projecting Hakeem Leckie and Henry Schoonmaker to return to the top line, with Nicky Galasso joining them to form an all-senior midfield front.
Other names to watch in the midfield include sophomore number 22, Jordan Evans, and fellow sophomore Nick Weston. Pretty good last name there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I like that one.
A wild card could be redshirt freshman Hayes McKinley, who was set to play on the second line last season before an injury ended his year.
On defense, the Orange returns preseason All-American first-teamer Brandon Mullins and solid close defender Sean Young, along with top pole Peter McCartney. Uncertainty looms at the third close defense spot, though.
Seems to be a theme every season. Jay McDermott and Bobby Tate are considered front-runners for the job. Both saw some time on the close defense before Matt Harris was eventually moved down from lawn stick midi to settle in the role.
In goal, Bobby Wardwell gets a chance to shine in net in a full-time capacity, though OCC transfer Warren Hill will be breathing down his neck. Wardwell turned away just above 51% of the shots he faced last year.
We've got just one more break here on Lacrosse Preview Show, but when we come back, it's time to take a look at the national picture. Plus, we'll tell you which games you'll want to circle on your calendar. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to my block party. Glad you can make it.
The only triple doubles you get come with fries.
Last time you blocked someone, you were online.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool.
Not cool.
Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
It seems like I say the same thing every year. The season seems to be coming quicker and quicker. But myself and the coaches are very excited to get started here.
We have some unfinished business from last year. It's not where we ended up. I think everyone worked really hard, in the off season, and it's time to get after it.
As a team, we worked hard all fall. 7 a.m. lifts on Friday mornings, and everyone was getting in the weight room. And I think this was one of the most productive years that we've had in the weight room.
There's so many leaders on the offense, and it's just great to play with all those guys. They really know what they do and have such great lax IQs.
We had a strong team last year. We felt like we could make a deep run, and obviously it was a disappointment. So I think it was motivation for the offseason, and I think guys are back focused and ready to start this year.
Let's have a look at those preseason national rankings. Look at all the ACC squads. The Orange is just third in the conference, but all the way up at fourth in the whole country. Notre Dame returns superstar attack Matt Cavanaugh and massive sniper Sergio Perkovic, while Duke comes off its third national championship in 5 years and second straight with a dominant-looking midfield. Number one, though, that's Denver. Bill Tierney's Pioneers bring back Tewaaraton candidate Wesley Berg and most of a stellar offense that ranked near the top of almost every category last year. Katie, let's break down some of the key games Syracuse faces on its schedule this year. Things start off with a bang in the month of February.
Well, yeah, we've got a CNY rivalry right off the bat in the Carrier Dome this year. Syracuse-Cornell, second game of the season. Randy Stotts scored 5 goals down in Ithaca, ensuring the Orange win last year. But Cornell returning to Tewaaraton candidate Connor Busick, so it's going to be a tough match.
Yeah, he's got a heck of a shot for the outside. Things really ramp up in March when Virginia visits the Dome. Syracuse will be out for vengeance after last year's beatdown in Charlottesville. After another date with St. John's down in Georgia, the schedule gets really serious.
Yeah, Evan, then comes the really brutal stretch of the schedule for SU, including games at Notre Dame and at North Carolina. And then here at home, Johns Hopkins and defending national champion Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, crazy stretch. The easiest game in that run is probably against Albany, a team that has taken SU to the limit each of the last 3 years, including a win in 2013, and it still has Tewaaraton winner Lyle Thompson at the helm.
And then, Evan, the Orange closes out with some very familiar opponents, Hobart and Colgate. But before that Colgate game, look out for the ACC Championship weekend in Philly. Last year, very exciting weekend. Syracuse comeback victory over Duke. Dylan Donahue's last-second goal, something that I'm sure all SU fans remember.
That just about does it for us on Citrus TV's 2015 Lacrosse Preview Show. Katie, either way, it could be a very, very exciting year for the Orange.
They're definitely set up to have almost as exciting, maybe even more exciting season than last year, and definitely go deeper in the postseason.
Going to be a lot of goals and a lot of let's not see Bryant again in the first round. I'm Evan Weston.
And I'm Katie Williams. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the 2015 season.